Alright, so what we're doing today is we are going to replace the condenser on this 2011 Toyota Sienna. I've popped the grill off. There's these little pop-up clips that come off. All you do there, I've actually got a little screwdriver I use on it, but I think they make a tool. You just pop them up, pop the center up, and they pull out. So grill is off, and then it just slides out of the bumper down here. Grill's off, so we can kind of see everything. We're going to have to disconnect the horn wires. We've got 3 bolts here that have to come out that hold the hood latch on. 2 bolts here. 2 bolts for this air intake tube. And 2 bolts here. And we should be able to take this core support off. Alright, so horn's unplugged. We've undone this right here. Those 3 bolts. You're going to have to push this little clip out that pops in right here. And we've got all the bolts out. We should be able to lift this out of here now. We're not pulling the whole intake tube off, we just undid those bolts. And then we can just pull this up out of the way. And one thing I forgot to mention, make sure before you start messing with any of this, you've evacuated the Freon, or had the Freon evacuated from the system. So it looks like we're able to do this whole thing with just 10mm wrench. So we've got 2 lines here that we're going to have to undo. And down there, they're both 10mm. So we'll take those loose. After we get those loose, we've got 2 bolts up here at the top that hold the condenser in. So we'll take these bolts out, and then these little brackets will come out. And it's out. So very simple to get this thing out. Once you get those 2 top brackets off, take the 2 bolts off, the brackets just pull straight up and off. Then you can pull this condenser out. The dryer is made onto it. So when you buy it, you get it all in one piece. The bottom brackets come off with the condenser. It looks like they probably just pull off of there. Yeah, they just pull off of there, and I'm sure the new one probably does not come with these brackets. So we'll save those, pull them off, and put them on the new one. So let me open up the new one. I'm going to move these brackets over if I need to, and then I'm going to get the new one drop down. You can see there's those little holes that the brackets go into. Those little rubber grommets go into that. So let me might clean a little bit of this off the radiator, but then I'll drop the thing in. And you're going to want to put new O-rings on your 2 lines. Oh, you're going to want to dump this over onto, what I'm going to do is dump it into this cup. And measure how much oil comes out of this old condenser. And you're going to want to put the same amount of new oil back in the new condenser. Alright, so I got just over 2 ounces of PAG 46 oil out of the system. And I put that much oil, new oil, back in the system. I did not reuse the old oil. And so now we are ready to drop this new one in. It came with the bottom brackets already on it. This is a $63 condenser off of Amazon. Of course I got it 2-day shipping. And it's okay quality, I guess. They left flux all over it. But other than that, it looks decent. It's definitely not OEM quality, but the OEM one is plugged up. And this one, of course, is a new one. And even the auto parts stores wanted like $300 for one. And so I figured, for the heck of it, let's just order the $63 one on Amazon, and we'll see how it does. Chances are, this one is the same one you may get at some auto parts stores. So we'll see. We'll see how it holds up. But quality-wise, it looks okay. Other than, like I said, other than them leaving flux all over it, it looks fine. Kind of a little rough on the soldering right there. I have a feeling there's a divider right here that divides off the chamber, maybe because of the dryer here, and so they cut the tube so it forces the Freon to go through and back, something like that probably. But we'll see. And there's probably a divider over here somewhere, blocks it off, makes it complete the circuit and run through the dryer. So let's drop this one in place. I've left the bottom cap on it, so I'm ready to put the line on it. I filled it from the top, and I'm probably, for the heck of it, we'll tilt it this way for a little while, let that oil run down to that side. Yeah, like I said, you see all the flux they left on it. Other than that, though, it looks pretty decent. So now, let me drop it in. So, got the vacuum pump on it. I went ahead and put those two lines on it. Put the two top brackets in the condenser, and went ahead and hooked my gauges up to it, vacuum pump up to it, pulled it down to 30, closed the gauges off, let it sit for a little bit, made sure it was holding steady, and it was. So went ahead and turned the pump back on, opened the gauges back up, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't have a big leak somewhere, make sure there wasn't a big leak in this condenser. And we're going to let this run for a couple hours. So while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start reassembling everything. Got the core support back just sitting in. We just need to throw all the bolts in it, and we'll stick the grill back in.